All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Guys Global Getaways, episode 12. Today we have a special guest. All right, my friend Marie. We go way back. All right, and she's here to take us back to the summer of 2006 for our very own whirlwind backpacking trip through Europe. So, this episode title is Marie's Whirlwind Backpacking Adventure Through Europe. So there we go. All right. It was a spontaneous adventure sparked by a family wedding in Ireland and a serious case of travel fever. So, Marie, welcome to the show. Tell us what your
Thanks for
initial
having me,
spark.
Guy.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Tell us what your initial spark was that ignited this incredible journey.
Well, thank you again. There was a family wedding in Ireland, which is a great excuse to finally make the European trip I've been dreaming about for years. I got a bit tired of waiting for everybody else to commit to going, which I think everybody else makes a commitment to go. So I announced the date was and who got that night to go, and none of my show could. I didn't even know exactly how long I was going to be gone, but I knew I was going.
No, no, that's great. That's great. So the wedding was in Ireland. All right, so that was good. Think you we talked about briefly that you flew into Shannon, right?
Yeah, I flew into Shannon with a big suitcase, which I planned to leave behind. The real adventure was going to be with just a book bag and a rolling travel bag across Europe.
Hmm. That's a true backpacker spirit. So you mentioned the plan wasn't very detailed, which is okay. How much of your trip was actually
Not at
pre-booked?
all. Surprisingly, very little. For what I thought would be at least a month of traveling, I only booked two locations. One was a hostel in Amsterdam and a hotel in Rudesheim, Germany on the Rhine.
Ah, Rudesheim. That's how you say it, Rudesheim?
Rudesheim, yep.
Rudesheim. All right. I heard that that's wine country. So what made you choose those two specific spots with such an open itinerary?
Rudesheim sounded amazing. The wine, the Rhine River, beautiful views, and Amsterdam. Well, I heard some stories, and a Catholic hostel seemed like a good idea and a safer option
No,
as a
no,
sole traveler.
that's amazing. So, I definitely it seems that we're kind of like in the meme or story world where people have shared experiences, whether it's through like Facebook or whatever, and so that's definitely uh, good. And you travel that part and kind of make your own experience. So Amsterdam, it looks like was your first stop, right, in mainland Europe. So what were your impressions of Amsterdam? How was that?
Actually, Paris was my first stop. I flew from Ireland to Paris, but I wasn't a big fan. The sights were beautiful, and mainly Amsterdam was amazing. I really liked it. It was cleaner and more historic than I ever expected. Hearing stories of Amsterdam, the red light district was definitely an experience. The food, and especially the sweets, they made candy out of everything. It was great. I even chatted with a guy from New Jersey. That was very interesting. It's very clean. Um, wasn't expecting it to be so clean, and the architecture was absolutely beautiful. There really wasn't too many smoke houses in the sense of like all over the place, dirty, which I originally expected. It was absolutely amazing experience, and the Van Gogh museum was definitely a topper.
You know what? So that's actually very interesting that you say that. So I know like Paris, from what I've heard, it could be a little bit on the dirty side. So so I definitely understand that. And no, that's good. When I went to when I went to Italy, uh, I had a few different expectations as well, but definitely the food. Clean cities, or it was okay to clean it, but it's a lot of things that you may expect that you may not expect, right? So like when I got into Rome, there was a lot of people smoking, which I I wasn't ready for. So, and that shows the difference and contrast from when you are like in the States. You can't smoke in restaurants and stuff like that. So that's just kind of a different cultural, different experience. But yeah, definitely food
Oh,
and
yeah. And on my way to Amsterdam, like on my way to Amsterdam, I met three guys from upstate New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. What were the chances? Who were raving about Prague. They told me about the architecture and the food and the parties like Prague were very similar to Italy. So I definitely understand. They sold me on the architecture, so I knew from Amsterdam I had to go to Prague.
oh no, that's cool. And always the stories of people that, especially uh, overseas, or even common ground people that you see, um, that definitely could change things. So I remember when I was in Venice, actually, man, we were on the river, like the little waterway that's in between.
Yeah, the canoes, where all the canoes are,
Right,
and
yeah, the gondola.
Venice is all filled with um yeah.
It's weird. So we saw, like, I thought, man, I was like, all right, this may be like the end of days because it's raining. It's like thunderstorms. The guy on the top, he's just like riding regular, and we saw a guy, I think he wasn't from like a state that I know. I think like Wisconsin or something like that. A young guy, but he's like, "Oh yeah, this is common. It happens all the time. You'll be good." So just having that familiar face, or somebody who you could relate with in another country, definitely kind of help ease our nerves, because I was definitely like, "Whoa, this may be it." It's like, is this how I die here? So, um, so that's cool. So.
Yeah. Speaking of, my trip from to Prague felt like it was 1915. That was really surreal. Different language. I didn't speak Czech at all. The night train had 4 bunk beds in it. So I get in there. I remember the conductor or some worker barging into the cabin, speaking rapid Czech. I had no clue what was going on. I was by myself. Everyone else seemed to know what was going on and handing over their passports and tickets. So I followed suit, completely clueless. He seemed really frustrated with me, though, yelling in Czech, slamming the door behind him, and it even sounded like it locked. I was a bit freaked out.
Wow, that sounds very unsettling. So how would you handle feeling so isolated at that time? I know back in that time, real trans. I know right now we have real time translation, which in 2006 that wasn't
We
available.
didn't have that, and we didn't have Facebook.
No. So is that something you wish that you had access to at that time?
Oh, absolutely. Just being able to type something in and get a basic translation would have been made the whole experience much more less stressful. I ended up just going back to reading my book, which was the Da Vinci Code, which was surprisingly fitting for some of the places I later visited. Let's say I booked a hotel in Prague, my first solo hotel stay for the trip after that train ride. But Prague itself was incredible. The architecture and the sights were amazing.
That's cool, man. I love me some good architecture and the sites that really like makes the trip for me, and like the history. So after Prague, it looks like you said you headed to Germany, including Frankfurt and Rudensheim. What were your experience like in those places?
Frankfurt was a bit more of a party scene, meeting people on the streets, but the open drug use was a real turnoff for me. Um, I could do without that. You know, there was a lot of drugs in the street, which then Rudesheim was a complete contrast. Beautiful wine country, getting to my hotel there was an adventure. There's always a story. I got off the train and was faced with this huge hill to walk out up with all my luggage, and I was absolutely exhausted.
No, that does sound exhausting. And a lot of times with the travel and kind of, I know from the States how you see things on the map, when you actually get there, things could be drastically different. So, so
It was, but Europe is so easy to get around. So it is worth just going, and it's just so easy to get from point A to point B. It just so happens that there was a huge mountain. I was just staring at the top. I was just staring at this mountain, like defeated. When this woman pulled up in her car, she spoke German at first. She was like, but then switched to English, thank God, and offered me a ride to my hotel, which was actually on the other side of the hill. So even if I walked up this humongous hill, I still wouldn't have been in the right spot. So she even had a friendly sheepdog with her. It was such an act of kindness. She was a doll.
you know what? That's the beauty of travel. The unexpected moments of human connection. I think when you go out to certain places, like I remember I was in I was in Italy. I was trying to figure out what the tolls were, right? So I go into this grocery store and I'm asking the guys like toll, right? Like what, like how does the tolls work? And he's looking at me like I got five heads, right? So I put it in like the Google Translate and I show him my phone, and then he's like, "Oh, so," and then he types it back in my phone, like the answer I was looking for. I was like, "Oh, okay." So, so the now what about Rudensheim? That was a highlight, right? I like that wine country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wine tasting, a cruise down the Rhine River with all the history and castles. It was absolutely wonderful.
That's interesting. That's something I need to check out. Something I need to check out definitely. So after the beauty of Rudensheim, where'd you go?
Absolutely.
You went to Switzerland. Did you encounter any language challenges there?
A little bit, though English was more widely spoken than in the Czech Republic. But even then, having something like Google Translate handy would have been useful for understanding local signs and menus, but it's still a great experience.
No, you know what? So now something that I just recently got something that we promote here is I don't know if you see my Ray-Ban glasses here um, that I'm wearing. They actually translate different languages, so not Czech, but right now I think it translates Italian, French, and Spanish in real time. So if you're talking to me in any of those languages, uh, it'll translate back into my glasses in English. So I think that's a nice tool to kind of get a better connection of where you are, and not feel so isolated. Also, one thing that I like is that you could capture video. I think video like up to 3 minutes, and uh, capture photos, straight from your glasses. So you got a camera here, you got a video right here, and with those, and I don't even pull my phone out anymore. I'm just gotta. Deep.
But the technology now is totally different than the technology back there. I was lucky to have a digital camera and a cell phone because cell phones, I think my bill still was like $600 to $800. So cell phones were like unheard of. So
Yeah, no,
it would have
no,
been
no.
amazing to have something like the Ray-Ban glasses to capture the photos and the videos, hand free especially. Right as I was experiencing all those breakthrough views of everything, it was would have been different.
No, yeah, that would have been cool for sure. Um, so that's a great point. Now I see that you finally went to Rome, which I guess I mentioned that I was a Rome too. So did any language barriers present any issues there?
A little bit with some locals, but I found that people were generally patient. I even took my husband back there for my 40th birthday. So he got to experience Rome as well. But during this trip, I ended up meeting a really nice, I was in a hostel, and I met a really nice girl from Bolivia who also spoke English. Which was a lifesaver. It really highlighted how we connected and translated. You know, it was really wonderful meeting her.
No, yeah, that you see. So just seeing people that kind of speak the same language and enjoying scenes with other people is really a great thing and really fulfilling. Um, uh, so, do you think what is something that you think would be like for people who are looking to backpack through Europe? What are any recommendations and stuff that you have?
Well, even though I didn't book a lot of different resorts, I knew where I was going. I kind of had that idea, but it was okay to go off track, which, I knew that I had the option of the Euro So the Euro is really inexpensive. You can get a day pass, a week pass, a month pass. And I always knew that my option would be I can go to the Euro, get a ticket for a night train, and I'd have a place to stay. So that was very comforting. I also knew that there was different hostels around. And at any time, if I needed somebody, I could always go to a guard. Guards are called police here. Um, but I was really nervous because Europe is so easy to get around. Even you with Italy. I want to be driving in Italy. Italy is a hard place to drive, even though that they drive on the same side of the road as us here in the States. It is always traffic in Italy, and they are nuts. They go up and down with those mopeds like no tomorrow, even on the sidewalk sometimes. And then you have the guards chasing them. So you're a lot braver than I am. I knew I was going to be on foot. I knew I was going to use public transportation, and that was perfect. And I was happy out. I had my cell phone, and I was okay.
No, no,
And
that's amazing.
the wind.
That's amazing. So, Marie, thank you for so much.
And I talked and met people everywhere I went.
Good, good, good. I appreciate that. So, if you guys have any questions, definitely let us know in the comments. Thank you so much, Marie, for doing this and sharing your amazing adventure with us. For those of you planning your own adventures, remember there are tools like Google Translate, Rayman Metas, um, and that could be some fantastic kind of companion for you. We'll have some links in the description. And I don't think we mentioned this in the beginning, but Marie is a baker. So would you like to talk about that for a second?
Sure, yes. It's baking with the Brennan family, and I get the kids involved, and we have a lot of fun. We do cookies, we do cakes, we do everything. Chocolate covered pretzels. Paint your own cookies is definitely by far our signature, as well as Irish soda bread and scones. So we have family in Ireland on both sides. My dad's from Donegal, and my mom is from Cork, and my husband's from Cavan. So we are Irish American, myself and the kids, and everybody else is Irish. which get your tickets now for Europe because the summer deals are there. 6 weeks in Europe, 16, almost less than $1,700 for 4 people. It's unbelievable. You got to book your trips now. Don't wait. Life is too short. Baking with the Brennan family, Google us. We have YouTube videos, a lot of shenanigans going on, and we're always happy to help.
Well, we'll definitely put that description in the bottom. So thank you again. Uh, Definitely check out our
And
next
thank you very
episode.
much.
Not a problem. Thank you. And that's all, folks. Take a look at our next episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll try to answer those questions. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
And I'm feeling good.